As we were saying, we were very interrupted, but the moon at 27 degrees is an aggregate number that gives you 9. Okay, the importance here is not 37 degrees, but that you add 2 and 7 and you have 9. The 9 deals with education, higher education, schooling, okay, colleges and universities, community colleges. There may be an interest in these areas, in these disciplines. Writing speeches, public speaking, motivational speaking, or even publishing, either self-publishing or being contracted by a major publishing company for some collective work. Despite where it is in sign or in house, to have this aggregate number, 9, because he was born with the moon at 27 degrees, but we are counting the aggregate number, which is adding 2 and 7 together. Now, I don't know if we got cut off from the other video, but I did mention that the numbers in the field of numerology are quite different. Their definitions and laws are quite different than those of astrology. Some of the principles overlap, but they are both actually quite separate and distinct disciplines. The sun is at 24 degrees. 2 and 4 is 6, which is Venus vibration. To have a 24 degree sun, regardless of the position of where the sun is, house or sign, will confer a happy marriage, a blissful marriage, regardless of aspects to the sun or aspects to any other position in the birth chart. To have the sun at 24 degrees will guarantee a happy marriage and a happy, successful marriage at that, and will have very steady and consistent income, and will have beautiful children. Then you have Mercury. Mercury is the mind, the intellect, curiosity, and it also rules the local environment, along with the third house in Gemini. To have Mercury at 8 degrees, the degree of Scorpio, the degree of mystery, intrigue, will mean that Mr. Dejesus will be pulled into subjects, topics, and even people that vibrate an air of mystery. With the moon at an aggregate degree of 9, Sagittarius, with a Mercury position of 8 degrees, this man might go into the occult or have interest in the occult, and might even launch a career in the occult. And that again includes writing books, writing treatises, having a blog, having a website, because these are different, excuse me, really bothering me here. These are different platforms in which this energy can be expressed. So this man definitely has a very powerful intellectual curiosity that will drive him towards the darker side of things, the darker side of any subject, nature, or even people. It's also a possibility that there may be talents here in psychology, possibly even psychiatry. Right? So the Mercury position at 8 degrees is a very introspective one. It's probing. In mundane situations, Mr. Dejesus might come across as someone who doesn't mind his own business, that is always looking into other people's business or trying to delve into other people's darker sides and darker natures. This is something that he might give off as an energy just by the mere presence in someone else's life. Or he might actually physically intrude on other people's spaces and bring out their shadow. But this is also a projection or a possibility that he might project his own shadow onto other people. Okay? In any event, with the moon and Mercury at this high degree aggregate, remember, the moon is number 9, Mercury is number 8. They're falling back to back. So this man can be a real x-ray machine when it comes to discerning and calculating the motives of other people. Okay, now we look at his Venus, and he's got Venus at 18 degrees. Again, we aggregate the numbers. 1 and 8 is 9. The moon, 27, aggregate the numbers, is 9. So the moon is 9, Venus is 9, and Mercury is 8. These are the inner planets. So again, the inner planets bear a separate psychology than the outer planets. So the fact that the inner planets all vibrate at 9 and 8 is almost a slam dunk that this man is going to be pulled to the more deeper recesses of the human nature, the human mind, or even nature. You know, this man is not going to be superficial, nor will he be interested in entertaining superficial people or encounters. Everything will have an in-depth meaning. And like the 27th degree moon, the 18th degree Venus also deals with colleges, universities, learning, but it may be learning art, music, sculpturing. Whereas with the 27 degree moon aggregate at 9, it may be more the occult, more the mysteries of human psychology and human nature. In any event, these three functioning inner planets at these degrees of 8 and 9 is going to create a personality that is extremely curious in knowing the deeper side of nature, of people and his own environment. And he can actually launch a career in these disciplines. We have Mars, the planet of action, the planet of activity, at 4 degrees. The 4th degree is the degree of wealth. North, south, east, and west. It is Capricorn energy. To have the Mars at 4 degrees will promise that this man will have the energy to move towards great monetary success. And with such emphasis in his chart already, and with the position of Mars in Capricorn, which is exalted in Capricorn, again, another signature, another slam dunk that this man is going to succeed in amassing great wealth. One signature is not going to confer this. In the birth chart, there has to be multiple signatures that are going to point to that direction. Let me have a drink. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's only 8%. Really 5%. Jupiter. Well, no, let's go to Saturn. Saturn is at 7 degrees. 7 degrees is a trick because it is the number of God. It is the number of the demiurge. But it's the number of success too. 7 days in the week, 7 musical scales, right? The 7 colors of the rainbow. 7 times 4 is 28, the phases of the moon. 7 times 4 is 28, the 28 days when a woman begins to ovulate. The number 7 is quite important. It is also the cycle of Saturn, of course. And to have Saturn at 7 degrees confers that the timing for his success and also temporary lapses and setbacks and even possible failures will all be determined by Saturn at this degree alone. Never mind aspects and positions of signs and houses. That will add to the possibilities. It's the extra signatures that will add to it. But the actual template that promises that this position of Saturn at this degree is going to confer success, but at a tough climb. It's not going to be easy. But when you do get through the climb, the success is yours. This is also a guarantee here in the horoscope with Saturn at 7 degrees in this chart. Notice that all the numbers are aggregating to 8 and 9. 7, 8, and 9. Okay? Then we have the North Node at 9 degrees. Here we go again with the number 9. So absolutely, this man may amass his wealth by some kind of educational pursuit or deep occult study that's going to bring him tremendous amount of financial blessings because of the heavy emphasis of Earth here. He might write a book, a textbook, or take dominance in the field wherever the North Node falls at 9 degrees. Again, the degree of learning, Sagittarius, which matches the moon at 27, which is aggregated at 9. Right? And then the Venus is 18, aggregated at 9. So we got 9 Venus, 9 the moon, 9 the North Node. It's a lot of 9s here. So it is an absolute slam dunk that this man should spend his time and energy in the libraries, museums, or in the pursuit of occult truth of a deeper nature. This can also mean that Mr. Dejesus at some point in his life might enter an initiation process. It's a very no-nonsense chart here. Then we have Jupiter at 14 degrees retrograde. It is the most highly aspected planet in his horoscope. In Virgo, another Earth sign of great productivity. Here we're going to experience setbacks and delays that normally would be true of Saturn. Here we have a mutual reception where it is Jupiter retrograde. Jupiter retrograde does not bring good gifts and good benefits. It withholds them. When it goes direct through progression as the person gets older, then it releases these gifts. But this doesn't seem to, or will not seem to flow easily either, with so many aspects against Jupiter here. 14 aggregates to number 5, which is the degree of conflict. Mars, the planet of conflict, follows at 4 degrees. But it is this in Capricorn, exalted in Capricorn. It's going to take this type of engine and this type of impetus of adversity and obstacles and opposition to propel Mr. Dejesus forward in launching his plans and fighting through the obstacles to get at the goal. Some of these goals will be short-term goals that he can enjoy the fruits of his labor immediately. But the ultimate goal that Mr. Dejesus may want to reach is going to take time. It may take over 30, 40 years. One whole Saturn return cycle. So this is very, very indicative of like roadblocks in the middle of the road. And you have to get out of the car and remove each brick at a time, brick by brick. Each brick, when you remove them, might take you years to go back and remove another brick, only for them to regroup and block you even more intensely, having to re-strategize and replan another way. Okay? Mr. Dejesus will have to learn many possible alternatives in reaching at the goal. There is not one set singularity to reach the goal. He's going to have to learn many different factions to get at the goal. With the number 9 vibration, with both Venus and the moon, and the North Node, we're also talking about encounters with foreign people, foreign cultures, foreign lands, and maybe having to spend time in other languages, in other cultures, and learning stuff that maybe he cannot assimilate in his own culture, but he can learn and absorb from other cultures. The number 9 energy is Sagittarius, which deals with other races and other cultures, and traveling, long distance travel, and traveling to other lands. Part of the journey for Mr. Dejesus in reaching his goals, whatever they may be, might include him also traveling to faraway lands and faraway places, or at least entertaining such groups in his own environment. And if they're not in his environment, he might have to seek them. It's a possibility that his wife in the future may be a woman that's outside of his culture. Again, Venus, which rules marriage, is also aggregate at number 9. It is 18 degrees by birth, but its aggregate is 9, which is Sagittarius and other cultures and races. So his wife may be of another race or culture. Taurus sits on the ascendant, which is ruled by Venus, and the moon exalted in Taurus, also at 9 degrees, confirms that his wife will be a woman of another culture, of another race. There's no compromise here. It's going to happen exactly like I'm telling you. And if this is to be given to another astrologer, and if he was to look at these signatures, he will agree as well. We have the MC. The MC is the highest point in the horoscope, right? We have the 10th house, the 4th house, the ascendant, and the 7th house over here, okay? We call this a cross. It could be a cardinal cross, a mutable cross, or a fixed cross. Mr. Dejesus has a fixed cross, but a tremendous cardinality and angularity, which offsets the fixed cross that he was born into. So he is definitely going to have more than one profession at a time. But there will be one that will be a consistent profession, and there'll be like mini professions within it. Okay? With the MC though, at 23 degrees, 2 and 3 is 5, the degree of conflict. This is also true of his Jupiter at 14, number 5, followed by Mars, which is 4 degrees. The MC is the goal, is the end goal of his success, the epitome, one might say, the final report card of many, many years of working towards achieving success in one's chosen field. 10th house is extremely important. To have it at 23 degrees, the degree of conflict, also confirms with all the squares and high aspects to Jupiter, retrograde, that the climb to Mr. Dejesus' success, at least when we're talking about the long-term goal, will be quite a climb, riddled with obstacles, adversity, that will harness character and define the definition of what he wants to achieve. Overcoming these goals, overcoming these obstacles, will promise financial reward and success. His Pluto is at 22 degrees, which is a master number. We have Neptune at 16. Aggregate becomes number 7, which is the same degree of Saturn. Here there will be a duality that the astrologer won't be able to detect right away. We have to look at the entire birth chart and then interview and have talks with Mr. Dejesus to see if he's even aware of his Neptune, and if he is, how he's using it. He might not be aware of this signature and still be walking in sync with the vibrations of this planet, this energy. These two planets, Pluto they're isolated and analyzed quite differently. We don't really include it in the actual delineation. We look at it from the beginning, or we look at it from the tail end, especially if you want to explore the past life dynamic. If we are seeing repetitive patterns here, then we do look to Pluto, which is a planet of past life, and whatever occurred in the last life is where we left off, and we come back from where we left off. This is symbolized by Pluto, and it's a separate analysis that we have to look at, and then we aggregate it to the entire horoscope through a time trajectory of 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. With Pluto, usually it's 50 to 90 years. We look at it and then we progress Pluto forward or backwards, and based on the aspect. And Pluto doesn't really do too many aspects, but when it does, it is extremely significant, and it always will bear witness to something that is of an unfinished business concerning the past life dynamic. Okay, so this is analyzed separately. Uranus, the planet of chaos, but it's also the planet of genius and awakening. It's in Capricorn, but it's at an aggregate degree of number 5. It's 14 degrees, which becomes a number 5. Conflict. So again, with this type of degree with Uranus, there may be unforeseen tragedies, unforeseen circumstances that will come out of the blue and throw Mr. Dejesus, his goals, his plans back to square one. This may usually occur through transits, okay, progressions in the birth chart. Okay, the astrologer can see beforehand when these things are going to occur and why they will occur. And this is valuable information to know beforehand, because the astrologer can alert the client before this hits. And it will always be connected to a particular cycle, because all of the planets have a cycle. The astrologer at this point in the consultation will then move to the third component of chart delineation and analysis, and then begin to explore the different cycles of the planets and how they correlate to the transits and progressions in the heavens at the moment in time. And then that in itself also paints a picture of possible events that may occur in the life of the native that may mirror the signatures already in the birth chart. It's almost like the planets through transits will ricochet and trigger aspects that are already promised in the horoscope. Now, the horoscope doesn't completely come to life all at once, but in pieces, depending on what planets, aspects are moving close to them, towards them, or causing aspects to them. And that includes midpoints too. Another drink. Alrighty. Mr. Dejesus has a yard, the finger of God. I also have a yard. I have it in Aries. Mr. Dejesus has it in Taurus, the Taurus moon. Again, the exaltation on the ascendant. I have it on the 7th house. He has it on the ascendant. They kind of both give kind of similar energies and vibrations. But this is the goal. The goal with the yard pointing towards the moon in Taurus on the ascendant is to reach a position of great wealth. There is no other need, there is no other definition, there is no other reason other than amassing great financial wealth. Now, these are things that people write about, and it sounds nice when you write it and you talk about it. No, no, no. Here, it's for real. This is for real, okay? My yard pointing towards Aries doesn't promise or guarantee wealth, but it does guarantee that whatever it is I want to set in motion and do and conquer, I'm going to succeed at it. Okay? Well, the yard in Taurus for Mr. Dejesus, the moon here, exalted, is going to give him, promise him, this wonderful blessing of wealth and abundance. Okay, he has a grand Earth trine. Out of the 10 planets, 7 of them are in the Earth. How could you not amass wealth with this type of signatures? Absolutely, it's amazing. This is an amazing chart. Amazing chart. Okay. Now, when we look at the final aspect of the birth chart, because these are still bullet points, we can sit down, me and Mr. Dejesus can sit down and break these apart in more graphic detail. Oh yes, oh there's more. That's why the birth chart, when you purchase it, is up to a year, because there's a lot to say. There's a lot that's in here, and you're not gonna get it in 2 hours. I give you the best in 2 hours, and then I give you the 7 hours of videos that comes with it as a supplement, and then with the 1 hour per month for an entire year. For me, it took me years to design this. I think it's the best way to go in fully understanding every element of your chart and how to use them. That can really empower you. Well, you're not going into this life, without a blueprint. We all are given a blueprint, and the birth chart is that blueprint. Okay, but it depends on the skill of the astrologer to bring this to a picture where you can see yourself in it and see the potential, not just for your own definition as a human being, but also how to use it as a tool to get to from point A to point B. It has many functions, and it really is quite rewarding. The final overall analysis that then we look at are the signatures. We have the signature of the horoscope, then we have the true signature, and then we have the final signature. There could be different signs, or it could be the same signs. The first signature is Capricorn because of a predominance of earth signs. The true signature is also Capricorn because most of the planets are in cardinal signs. And the final signature is also Capricorn because most of these planets are in angles to the chart. So again, this confirms the success that Mr. Dejesus is going to achieve. There is no way that this man is not going to obtain the goals that have been delineated here. This is what a professional birth chart analysis looks like. Okay, we are able to even look into the future, make a trajectory, and see what Mr. Dejesus will be doing in the future, a year from now, 2 years from now, because we know the movements of the planets. And now that we know his birth chart, we can see what is in store for him in the future, either a month from now, a year from now, a decade from now. Everything is written in the stars. Now, the only thing here that is not sticks and stones is the free will and what you were all born with. We don't have to follow the birth chart just because we were born with a birth chart. Everybody has a birth chart. But that doesn't mean that you're obliged to follow it. You can carve your own path independent of the birth chart. Is that a good idea? Is that something that is going to get you the goal that you want? Only time can tell. I hope you enjoyed this. This concludes the analysis. Further analysis will be done in private with Mr. Dejesus. But this is what you get when you pay for a birth chart. Okay? So if you're interested, you can put the money to Zelle. It's $360, so you'll know. And I already told you what it does to bring. You know, it's a 1 month a year, 1 month, 1 hour a month for a year consultation, 2 hours immediate, 7 hours of videos. And you get to talk to me for an entire year, helping you cultivating your goals towards whatever success you're looking for. Okay? And we are a school, so this service is usually cost thousands, but it's only $360 because we're trying to teach the public how to do this themselves, how to empower themselves. The day will come where every single person on the planet will be able to do a birth chart and know exactly how to use it, how to do it, and how to use it towards their best advantage. The elites and the wealthy people of this planet, this is exactly what they use. And they consult people like me of the highest caliber to get them to where they want. So don't be fooled. This is a very, very powerful tool that has been used exclusively only for the elites. And now I'm making it available to you, which is why it's called the People's Astrologer. And as far as I know, I'm the only astrologer doing this. I hope other astrologers take heed and do it as well. Okay? If you're interested in my school and becoming an astrologer yourself, also let me know. Okay? So thank you so much. Go to my website, thepeoplesastrologer.com. I talk more about the birth chart. I have more information there, and I have sample birth chart of both celebrities and average people. So you can gain more juice before you commit to a purchase of a birth chart. Guys, thank you, and I hope this helped you.